Hello and welcome back. I'm Larry Reynolds from Grace Healing, and I want to thank you all for your presence. For those that are checking in to the Grace Healing videos at gracehealing.video or gracehealing.org is our website. And just thanking you for your presence because we've had this incredible opportunity to serve so many more people lately and people reaching out based upon what they've been experiencing through these videos. And the opportunity to kind of elevate our thought process above what's been expressed or shared over the last 2,000 years. And many of the religious bodies that have formed up over the last 2,000 years have, quite frankly, kind of diminished the true message of divine love, divine clarity, divine wisdom, and all the nature of things that are available to each and every one of you. And in the sharing of these videos, we've been seeing an increase in a number of people that are seeking answers to questions of life, different experiences that they're going through, some of them facing great turmoil with all that's unfolding on the earth. And in that, there's a subject matter that comes up right now, and it is how do we measure or determine the good guys from the bad guys? And it's important to remember that from within scriptural understanding and many like spiritual instructions throughout the world, we've been given insight on how to determine that, except people need to be refined in understanding how to apply it. So again, how are we supposed to know the good guys from the bad guys or the integritous from the deceitful? By their fruits you will know them, is one of the quotes. And we were given this metric to know them, to see them revealed, not by what they're telling us through their words, but what they measure in their actions and those moments that rise from the things that they do beyond the public eye, the things that they do in private, the things that they do in the background. And one of the concerns I have when I'm serving many people, and we've served tens of thousands of people through Grace Healing, and one of the challenges that I witness is people think that fruit is evidence of physical blessing, physical wealth, money, worldly prosperity, earthly trappings, the luxuries. And I would pose that the fruit we were suggested to look for is the intangible fruit, the expressions that are beyond the physical. It's possible that we're supposed to measure and witness fruit as the living attributes of God revealed within those that have been elevated to positions of public influencers or media influencers, or the different things that we're seeing unfolding now, where there's been such an increase in people being available. Even in this video that I present to you, one of the prayers that I begin before I even enter any of these is that you would be protected from my words and awaken to the living presence of God within you, to find the living word that is God guiding you in this moment. But returning to this thought about the difference between how humanity has fallen into this view that fruit is measured by what the person has in their lives, instead of, again, the intangible expressions of divine attributes, the living attributes of God revealed within us. Measure the actions and the presence of a godly nature instead of words that speak of the physical blessings. The big thing within the teaching process now is to talk about the word manifest. We're going to manifest this or manifest that. And I have a Rolls Royce in my driveway and you can have one too. And it shows that we are walking in the path of righteousness when we have great abundance pouring upon us. In all honesty, from what I've seen on a spiritual level and what I've witnessed time and time and time again, that is a huge spiritual deception, demonic in nature, and sets many people up to self-judgment, self-condemnation, when they don't see the measure of their manifest intentions manifest physically. And this process has brought people to a place where they start searching these teachers that, again, are living in $44 million estates. They're driving these Rolls Royces. They're flying around in jets. They're living the high life, saying, look, because I have it, I'm the one that holds the favor of God. You come to me because look at the fruit that I have around me. And what I present to people is to take great care not to fall into that trap. It is about the internal fruits that we are increased within. As we measure the actions and the nature of God, we look for the fruit of the Spirit. And that would take form as patience, love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, a goodness of heart, faithfulness, meaning trust. How does a person engage in the gift of faith? Through trust. Gentleness. How about self-control? How about holy purity instead of moving through lust or through profanity? People have become so comfortable in the expression of profanity within their language. And the comedy in this is, like they said, that there was this massive study performed to find out that swearing shows higher intellect. Search it yourself. You will find that there was never a study along those lines. People think that moving outside of the divine to become dramatic or expressive in these ways is a way to gain reaction. But is it truly a fruit of the Spirit, meaning capital S Spirit, God? Are people moving through their decisions first based in compassion, patience in observation? Are they looking at the result through selflessness? Are they moving through arrogance, or are they surrendering into holy humility? Are they moving through integrity, or are they governed through deception? And again, if we return to what's happened within this world, is we're seeing stadiums filled with people looking to a minister that has a ministry that, again, lives in a $44 million mansion, driving cars that are worth millions of dollars. And the people think, oh, look, oh my God, he's got the favor. He's got the blessing. He's got the presence of God within him because look at the trappings that he holds. And I would say, be not fooled by the trappings of the earth. They are temporal. The actual fruits of the kingdom that resides within you are not attained through individual gain. They are realized through surrendering oneself and elevating the reality of the kingdom within for the sake of others. Elevating the reality that the kingdom is present within others. A person's wealth merely demonstrates that they have received grace. It does not define whether they are in alignment with God or out of alignment. And the way we could look at this is if we look back into the early days prior to Yeshua's crucifixion, we would see the Pharisees in the manner in which they functioned. And they held the temple of the Holy of the Holies. And what they would do is they would enter in through the temple of the Holy of the Holies. However, there was only one high priest that could actually pass through the veils. There were multiple veils that they would have to pass through in order to get to the temple of the Holy of the Holies. And it was said that if a person looked upon the central Holy of Holies, the tabernacle, they would die if they were not in alignment with God. So what they would do is they would tie this rope around the high priest's ankle, just in case he was not being truthful to the body of people, or if he was not in right alignment with God, because if he collapsed in there, he would have to be retrieved by pulling the rope out, and that would show him as not being pure and in holy alignment before God. Let's be honest. What a setup for deception. For the high priest walks into the veils, supposedly pure in every aspect, enters into the temple of the Holy of Holies, settles into a time of prayer and meditation or whatever, and he emerges from the veils, never once looking in the tabernacle or touching it. And everybody thinks, oh my God, he's in right alignment with God. He was not taken from us as he entered through the veil of the veils and into the temple of the Holy of the Holies. So here we have these ministers of today, and I will mention a couple of the names. There's Joel Osteen. There's others, Robert Morris, Pat Roberts. We've seen others before them, Tammy Faye Baker, other ministers that are speaking prosperity as evidence of God's favor in their lives, evidence that they hold the anointing. And there may be some that are doing true, compassionate, and loving works. But honestly, measure the fruit, not just of the world, but how are they applying it? And in all humility, how is it that I could justify a $44 million home while I see others of a genuine and an integritous nature searching for the simple necessities of life? People in the world that there is only oppression for. Institutional oppression so corrupt and so broken and so damaged that they can't even access the simple necessities of life. So I dump $44 million into a home of my own personal gain instead of looking at how could this function in a way to bring $44 million worth of result to other individuals as an example of compassion, as an example of wisdom, clarity, and discernment for them, to show them the nature of divine glory manifested in their lives as I was used as a holy instrument. Instead of taking $2-3 million and dropping it into a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, what if I met the basic needs of my life with basic simplicity? It doesn't mean that I have to live in squalor, but I would also be a proper steward over the resources that I receive. And as I've shared before, the reality behind the message that says it is harder for a rich man to make it into the kingdom of heaven than it is to thread the eye of the needle with a camel. If you look to that video, you'll see there's very important things to understand in it, because this isn't talking about some impossible feat of taking a little sewing needle and shoving a camel through the eye of the needle. You have to understand the context. The context was, again, we'll do this as a basic review. The eye of the needle was a small doorway in the walls of Jerusalem next to the large door. That small doorway was large enough for a man to shed his backpack or whatever he's carrying, drag them through while he was hunched to make it through the door. So that is against every single thing that a camel would want to accomplish. It does not want to be down on its knees crawling along. It does not want to be pressed in upon by these walls. Yet, if it is deepened through forbearance, deepened in stillness of purity, trained to keep its eyes centered and focused upon its master, in our case, Yahweh Elohim, God and Creator, Yeshua, avant de la crédimor, Yeshua, the very first utterance of creation as God established in an image of self, and the Abun, living breath of God within us. This camel focused upon the master would be well disciplined, well restrained, and as the master calls him forth, would hunch down and progress through the eye of the needle and emerge within the walls of Jerusalem in the city to receive the benefits and provision provided within the city. It was by resting one's eyes upon the master, moving again as this camel moved with great strength through forbearance, patience, and dedication to that which is our God within, that the camel was able to be threaded through the eye of the needle. So as we look to these other ministers speaking of this process of developing physical wealth, we have lost sight of the fact that we are here to deepen in the gifts of the Spirit, to learn how to be the living attributes of God, so that even in the midst of the storm, even in the midst of times when we do not have great abundance, we still function in peace, joy, love, goodness, faithfulness, regardless of what the world presents around us. These are the fruits we look for. We do not fall prey to these teachings that say to a person, okay, put on your vision board that you go out and you got to get yourself that Lamborghini, or you're going to get yourself that Ferrari, or you're going to get yourself that Koenigsegg, whatever car, whatever you want. Put it on your vision board. You can get it. You can manifest this result. And I've had to deal with the people outside of that setting that have been trying to manifest things for years, showing up at those places, giving over their own personal wealth to those places, and never seeing the manifest result. Because the bottom line is we have to come back to the reality. The blessing of physical trappings is evidence of their favor and their blessing through grace by God, not their alignment. So I would say to you that if a person does not hold those personal trappings or wealth, many times it is not about a person's alignment with God. It is because they have been equipped to handle this type of journey so that they don't have the comfort of a $2 million Bentley or the comfort of a jet to fly from place to place while they go on public flight process. Those are the people that honestly have a genuine sense of patience, a genuine sense of kindness, a genuine sense of goodness, a genuine sense of God's forbearance within them as they meet the responsibilities of the world with joyful presence of God's grace within them, with love extended to every person they may encounter in the airport. Are we honestly measuring the nature of our actions as we encounter these settings? Or have we come to a place where we're sitting there judging of ourselves because we've had a manifestation board in place now for 10 years and only small bits and pieces of it have emerged, but not the larger visions that we wanted? But I also don't want to take away from you the possibility that as you seek in prayer before the presence of God, you will have moments where you will find yourself aligned in God in holy clarity, discernment, peace, and understanding. And you will have a knowing, oh my God, this is the way that God is leading me. This is where God is moving me. And you can place these things upon your board or whatever, your vision board, and then just relinquish them. Relinquish the ties to them. Trust in divinity in thanksgiving that you had an awareness of this gift of recognition, this gift of truth and understanding. But just because you don't have the physical trappings of the earth, let them be the gifts of God's presence, and it'll align you in such a way that you will reach greater numbers of people in the calling that you hold upon this earth, or magnify success through your gifts, talents, and abilities upon this earth. By aligning yourself with the holy nature of God, you become that which God intends for you, which brings greater blessing unto you so that you can serve in greater numbers. And again, if you encounter the storm of this world, if you encounter the difficulties that many people face, you're already positioned in God, as God, by the living attributes of God. You will move with greater forbearance. You will move with greater kindness. You will move with greater faithfulness in trust. You will be gentle in your responses. These are the fruits we look to measure. And I would like to extend to you that each of you, whether you're in a prosperity process, working with teachers or ministers, if we see people that are moving through a sense of arrogance, look what I have. I hold the power. I am the one who's blessed. It is not. In each one of these, they are speaking of prosperity as measured by wealth and physical trappings upon this earth. In all humility, in my calling, I'm not here to press it on people, but in my calling, I am called to speak of a prosperity born within you. And as you center yourself upon God's presence, the fruit of God's manifest attributes will begin to emerge in every aspect of your life. People will find a greater comfort in your presence of sensing integrity, sensing humility, sensing wisdom, clarity, and discernment. And even if you don't feel that those things are present within you, as you align yourself with God, what will happen is God will begin to bring forth words from your tongue that will reflect God's holy discernment, wisdom, and clarity. God will overtake your vocal center to speak for the sake of others. So breathe deep, trusting and knowing that every aspect of your being can become the holy and living attributes of God, manifesting fruit everywhere you go. Be not attached to the physical trappings. And again, if you have needs within your life, center before the presence of God, pray in holy trust that God has already established the nature of provision, blessings, and all that you are receiving, all that you are to receive. And as you sit within this truth in prayer, one of the biggest challenges within the American culture is allowing yourself this time, whether it's early in the morning, like I'm doing now, or you find your time through your day where you allow yourself the chance to sit, pray, and breathe. You will begin to discover that you will move in divine awareness. And if you get a vision or a sense or an awareness of how God wishes to bless you and is moving you in a certain direction, again, write this on your vision board, prayers of thanksgiving, and release attachments to the result. Do not look upon yourself in a way that says you are not worthy to receive something because it hasn't emerged over a 10-year period. Trust and relinquish it to God. And if it is supposed to emerge, it will come forward. And it will evidence God's glory within your life through grace. It doesn't define your alignment with God to all of a sudden end up with the most expensive Cadillac or the most expensive Mercedes-Benz or a house that is more vast than you and your personal needs require. It is when you live the living attributes of God that you will know within you the living breath of Abun, God's presence within, and the reality that you can move with clarity in each and every breath that you receive. Not defined by physical attributes, but revealed to others through divine fruits, the holy attributes of God manifesting within your every thought, word, and action. So breathe deep in holy trust. I thank you for returning to the video, and I pray that you would consider liking and subscribing to help increase the reach to others, as you know how the algorithm works. We trust in the holy and divine reality that God is governing and moving these messages forward. But I also see that many have been lost within the world. They have been in a place where they search physical manifestation of blessings in order to see if a person is spiritually guided. And that's concerning. So please search deep within those people that you've established as leaders within your life or spiritual gurus or whatever it may be. And are they honestly displaying the divine fruits? And for those that you may have encountered that are celebrating the physical fruits of the world, please do not embrace judgment. Do not be trapped by judgment. Begin to pray for them to be increased in holy compassion, increased in hearts of charity, increased in the desire for philanthropy, increased in the desire to reveal divine glory over self-recognition. Pray increase for them. In our calling within Grace Healing, we're not led to pray against anybody. We're led to pray for everybody that they might receive increase within the holy fruits that are God's presence within. Then, no matter what we encounter upon this earth, no matter what the storm is, whether it's the presently projected result of AI and how it's supposed to impact humanity, or the political process and the continued controls of money where companies that were bailed out by individuals through taxation are receiving millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses. We are not trapped within this. We are celebratory in the fact that we hold the greater abundance within us, that is God's presence. So we at Grace Healing love every one of you, love all people of creation, whatever they're revealing, We look to God's love first, not what we have to offer, and we extend that love back. We pray for all people to be elevated. And instead of celebrating the possible harm or demise of a person, we celebrate the possibility that they could be elevated to see them in love and compassion and be released from the spirit of hate. So stir your heart, embrace stewardship over the gifts that you house within you, which are literally and actually the living presence of God within. And I pray that you will allow God to manifest the holy nature of his being through you, her perfect wisdom, compassion, love, and comfort to all people you encounter. May your day be a blessing. Know that you are loved and supported, and check in with us on gracehealing.org. Feel free to order your copy of A Covenant of Love from Amazon.com. You can actually go to the website, and there's a link right there as well on gracehealing.org. And we look forward to serving you. Feel free to reach out. We serve by phone, by Zoom. In any cases that are needed, families, friends, individuals, or corporations, we are here to serve you. Have an amazing week to come. I pray blessing upon each and every breath that you receive, that you would discover the living reality of God's holy presence in you and become divine love, joy, peace, forbearance, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, purity, compassion, selflessness, humility, and integrity. Take care and be blessed. Have a great day.